Robert Angier invites a few people from the crowd to come up and inspect the device for his upcoming performance. One of them, Alfred Borden, heads down below the platform and waits while the act continues. Angier steps into the contraption as electric currents surge around him. While the blinding light distracts the crowd, a hidden hatch opens beneath him, sending Angier into a water chamber where Borden is watching. The hatch seals shut, locking him in. Meanwhile, the crowd is baffled by Angier's sudden absence. Unknown to them, he is trapped underwater, silently pleading with Borden as he starts to drown. Days after the show, technician John Cutter appears in court. He tells the jury that the water tank had been part of Angier's earlier routine, but was later removed from the stage. Since he had seen Borden go underneath during the show, Cutter accuses him of secretly setting up the tank beneath the hatch Angier fell through. The court, skeptical of his claim, asks Cutter to describe how the illusion known as the real transported man actually worked. Cutter replies that exposing the secret would ruin the act. The judge then proposes that Cutter share the details privately so he can judge the case with full understanding without revealing the illusion to the public. Weeks pass, and Borden is held in a maximum security cell due to his known skills at escaping. A legal representative named Owens visits, acting on behalf of a magician named Lord Caldlow, who is interested in buying the original method behind the transported man. Since the court has ruled that Borden's daughter must be taken from his friend's care, Owens offers to have Lord Caldlow adopt her, if Borden shares his secret. As a gesture of trust, Owens gives Borden Angier's journal and leaves. In his prison cell, Borden begins reading about Angier's journey to Colorado, as described in the diary. In a flashback set 2 years earlier, Angier arrives in Colorado Springs, a town fully powered by electricity. He ventures into the mountains to meet Nikola Tesla, but is stopped at a barrier charged with electric current. Tesla's assistant, Allie, recognizes Angier but declines to let him meet the inventor. Still, Angier tells Allie he's staying at a nearby inn if Tesla reconsiders.
I'll be staying at the hotel, indefinitely.
Back at the hotel, Angier reads through Borden's diary and thinks back to the time they worked as backstage assistants for a magician named Milton. During one performance, Borden and Angier pose as volunteers from the audience, tasked with tying up Milton's partner, Julia. While securing her legs, Angier kisses one of them, which makes her smile. Julia is lowered into a tank of water, and the curtains drop, hiding it from view. When the curtains lift again, she stands safely outside the tank. Afterward, Borden complains that Milton's tricks are uninspired. He says he knows a move no magician can copy, but refuses to explain it. Cutter challenges them to figure out how Chung-Ling Soo pulls off his goldfish bowl illusion and promises an audition with top promoter Mr. Ackerman if they succeed. Before they head out, Cutter scolds Borden for using the Langford double knot on Julia during the act, saying it could have hurt her. Borden argues his version is better. Once Borden leaves, Cutter also reprimands Angier for kissing Julia's leg on stage, warning that it might hint to the audience that they're married. At the Tenley Theater, Borden and Angier watch Chung-Ling Soo's act, in which he makes objects, including a fishbowl, appear from nowhere. Borden figures that the magician is pretending to be old and frail to hide props under loose clothes and a slouched body. That night, Angier tries to replicate the move Borden described, but he struggles to walk while hiding a bowl under his coat. He admits he couldn't live a fake life the way Borden believes Chung-Ling Soo does. Angier explains that he only changed his name to protect his family's reputation because of his job on stage. Later, while helping out at a small performance, Borden meets a woman named Sarah and her young nephew, who cries after a bird vanishes during a trick. Even after the bird is brought back, the boy insists it isn't the same one. After the show, Borden places the live bird back in the cage and opens the hidden space where the original one was crushed, just as the boy had suspected. He catches up with Sarah and the boy outside and compliments the boy on noticing the truth. After joining them for a meal, Borden walks Sarah to her building, but she won't let him come in. She enters alone until Borden mysteriously appears inside her kitchen. Right now, Cutter shows the judge the device used in Angier's final act, along with the water tank where he died. The tank's trick latch had been swapped for a real lock, leaving Angier trapped. Cutter explains this very tank has a shared history between both Borden and Angier. Flashing back to earlier years at one of Milton's shows, Angier and Borden bind Julia for the tank illusion. Borden and Julia exchange a glance, silently agreeing to use the Langford double knot. Julia is raised over the tank and dropped in. Cutter stands nearby, axe in hand just in case. When the curtain doesn't rise after a minute, panic sets in. Cutter yanks it down to reveal Julia still inside. He smashes the tank trying to free her, but it's too late. Julia has drowned. Days later, Angier dunks his face in water, trying to understand her final moments. At the funeral, Angier demands to know which knot Borden tied. Borden lies, claiming he doesn't remember.
I'm sorry, I just don't know.
You don't know?
I'm sorry.
You don't know?
Weeks pass. Sarah finds Borden in their apartment with a strange man named Mr. Fallon. Borden cheerfully says Fallon brought the gear for his upcoming performance. Sarah expresses concern over money, revealing she's expecting a baby. Borden shows her his bullet catch trick, explaining the bullet isn't in the gun. At the show, Borden's act draws boos from the crowd. Frustrated, he points a gun at them, quieting the room. He picks a volunteer to fire the gun, unaware the man loads a real bullet. The man is Angier in disguise, still mourning. Angier presses Borden to say what knot he tied on Julia. Fallon tries to grab the gun, but it fires by accident. Borden is hit in the hand and cries out as Angier walks away. In Borden's journal, he says he gave Angier the truth that night. Still, Angier refuses to believe Borden doesn't recall the knot he tied. Later, Sarah cares for Borden's injury. With 2 fingers gone, his options are limited, except for the act he's kept secret, his legacy trick. Meanwhile, Cutter and Angier prep for their next show, hiring Olivia Wenscombe as Angier's new partner. Cutter designs a setup to vanish a dove without harm. They demo the effect for Mr. Merritt, who runs the venue for their first show. At the performance, Angier amazes the crowd by switching 2 people's handkerchiefs, but the applause feels hollow. After intermission, Angier brings out a dove. The crowd groans, expecting the usual. He invites 2 people to hold the cage. One turns out to be Borden. They stare at each other just before Borden springs the trap too soon, killing the dove and injuring the other women's fingers. Mr. Merritt is furious and cancels all future shows. With no act left, Cutter suggests they explore a science exhibit for new ideas. In Colorado Springs, Angier is decoding Borden's journal when Allie drops by. Angier says he's found the key to Borden's best illusion, a Tesla-built machine he hopes to obtain. Intrigued, Allie brings Angier to see their latest test. On a nearby mountain, Angier watches the town's lights suddenly go out. Tesla had powered the area in exchange for tapping the grid when needed, like tonight. In the dark, a field of bulbs glows, all lit by wireless energy from generators 15 miles away. Months earlier, Angier had first seen Tesla's innovation at a science fair. This is the moment Angier first encounters Allie, who firmly defends the safety of Tesla's inventions, despite Thomas Edison's smear tactics. Among the crowd stands Borden, calmly watching the lightning flashes inside the hall as the others shrink back. Angier follows him outside and spots Borden's wife and baby daughter, Jess. Seeing the life he might have shared with Julia, envy takes over. But as he reads Borden's stolen journal, he finds that Borden longed for freedom, even with the family he'd created. In prison, Jess, now a young girl, visits Borden. From Fallon, Borden learns the court plans to take Jess away. Hearing this, he agrees to Owen's offer. That afternoon, a guard mocks Borden, saying his tricks won't get him out. Borden distracts the guard with a ball, which slips clumsily from his hand. While the guard jeers, he doesn't notice Borden locking his leg to the table. 2 years earlier, Angier finally enters Tesla's lab, where electric bolts shoot across a platform. Through the wild energy, Nikola Tesla appears and greets him. Allie then places a bulb in Angier's palm, which lights up from the current running through their bodies. At lunch, Tesla warns Angier to walk away from his obsession. Angier insists, and Tesla, already building the device, agrees to continue. Months before, Angier reads about Borden's rising fame in the newspaper. Olivia warns that his revenge has become an obsession, but Angier can't accept that the man who cost him Julia is now living his dream. That night, he describes Borden's newest illusion, stepping into one closet and instantly walking out of another. Angier is set on discovering the trick, convinced he can perform it better. Cutter believes Borden uses a double, but Angier refuses to accept that. With no better plan, he agrees to find one. Olivia brings Gerald Root, a drunk ex-performer who resembles Angier. Though unimpressed, Cutter promises to train him. A month later, while they rehearse, Olivia and Angier flirt and share a kiss, looking forward to the show. Cutter unveils the cleaned-up Root, who arrives drunk, but performs with surprising finesse. That night, Angier debuts the new transported man. He tosses his hat and steps into one door, reappearing from the other to catch it. Beneath the stage, the real Angier hides while Root takes the applause, even kissing Olivia to cheers. After the show, Angier admits he hates being under the stage when the crowd erupts. He suggests switching places mid-act, but Cutter doubts Root can match his charisma and build tension. When they later find Root drunk again, Cutter pushes him out before anyone sees. Olivia tries to lift Angier's mood with a kiss, but he stays distracted, still unsatisfied with the performance. Hoping to learn Borden's method, Angier asks Olivia to spy on him. He tells her to gain his trust by being honest. Olivia resists, turning away from his kiss, but agrees to the plan. Years later, Tesla reveals his finished machine to Angier. Electricity sparks around the hat, ending in a blinding flash, but the hat seems untouched. Nothing has changed. 2 years back, Olivia visits Borden in his workshop and admits Angier sent her to uncover his secrets. She claims she's done with Angier's obsession and genuinely wants to help Borden now. Just before another performance, Root demands more pay to keep going. Angier, afraid to cancel, agrees, at least until they uncover Borden's trick. But one night, Root intentionally delays coming out on stage, ruining the act. He got the idea from a stranger at a bar who told him that doubles actually have more power than magicians. That stranger was Borden. At another performance, when Angier drops through the trapdoor, the pad below has been taken away, making him land hard and break his leg. Instead of Root waiting on stage, it's Borden. Borden steps out in front of the crowd, drawing laughs. At center stage, the drunk Root appears, tied up and gagged, while the audience laughs at him. Borden strolls off stage, ridiculing Angier as the crowd cheers him on. Enraged, Angier accuses Olivia of helping Borden ruin the act. Olivia swears she only followed his orders. She believes Borden's using a look-alike, but Angier's still unsure. To show she's on his side, Olivia gives him Borden's journal, but says she needs it back the next day. When Olivia brings up his dead wife, Angier slips and admits he only cares about Borden's secret. Even he's shocked to hear himself say it, realizing who he's become. Wanting to spare Olivia the trouble, he breaks into Borden's lab and makes it look like he stole the journal from there. One night, after a hit show, Borden notices Angier tailing him. Fallon gets alarmed and goes after them too. Angier cuts down an alley to get ahead, and Fallon follows. As Fallon climbs up, the steps give way and he falls into a big crate where Cutter traps him. With Fallon captive, Angier demands the secret to the transported man, but Borden writes down a clue instead. Angier hands him a shovel, telling him to dig and save Fallon. At the hospital, Angier and Cutter look over the note and spot the name Tesla. Angier lights up, thinking he's close to cracking the mystery, but Cutter is fed up with Angier's obsession and decides to walk away. At dinner, Sarah's shocked to see Borden bring Fallon and Olivia. Borden's thrilled. He's come up with a new illusion where he gets buried alive each night. Unmoved, Sarah tells Fallon and Olivia to go. Left alone, Sarah listens as Borden talks about nearly losing something precious, but won't say what it is. After seeing Tesla's failed machine in Colorado, Angier reads the part of Borden's journal when Olivia first visited him. She was upset Angier sent her there, feeling used and hurt. Over time, Borden didn't trust Olivia, but still fell in love. The journal says Olivia led Borden to Root, then left the journal behind to send Angier chasing lies. In the entry, Borden mocks Angier for thinking he'd ever write down the truth. Angier clutches the journal, his eyes burning with rage. He storms into Tesla's lab, accusing him of wasting his money on personal work instead of the device. He threatens to alert Edison's men, but Tesla swears he did build it. It just never worked right. Hoping for a breakthrough, Tesla tries the machine on Allie's cat. It cries as electricity surrounds it, but nothing seems to happen. Upset, Angier leaves, the cat trailing him. Outside, he hears the same cat screeching. He follows the noise and finds dozens of his hats lying around. Allie's cat chases another cat that looks the same. Tesla has made copies. That proves the machine works. Tesla vows to perfect it. Back home, Borden finds Sarah drinking away her sadness. He promises his heart belongs only to her and Jess, but she doubts him. Later, Borden meets Fallon at the park. He asks Fallon to take Jess to the zoo and begs him to make Sarah believe in his love. Then, Borden drops by Olivia's. She greets him with a kiss but warns him to forget his family while they're together. In Colorado, Angier sees Tesla's lab burned to the ground. Thinking everything is lost, he checks out of his hotel, but the clerk gives him a parcel Tesla left. In his note, Tesla says Edison's men destroyed his lab and he had to flee. He confirms the machine works but begs Angier not to use it. It'll only lead to suffering. Angier ignores the advice. He tests the machine, taking safety steps in case things go wrong. He powers it up and steps inside as sparks fly around him. In the present day, Borden reaches the final page of Angier's journal, where Angier taunts him, fully aware he'd be reading it while locked up. The next morning, Borden confronts Owens, who insists the diary is authentic. Borden hands over his notes, but they're incomplete. He insists on saying goodbye to Jess before giving the rest. Months earlier, Borden's marriage crumbles because of his affair with Olivia. Sarah grows tired of the lies and the secrecy. She begs Borden to be honest to prove he truly loves her, but he won't, admitting he didn't love her in that moment.
Do you love me?
Not today. No.
Overwhelmed by his deception, Sarah takes her own life in Borden's workshop. At the same time, Cutter meets Angier at an empty theater. Angier unveils The Real Transported Man, a new act he plans to perform. With Cutter's assistance, he presents the trick to Mr. Ackerman. Angier steps into the device, lightning buzzing around him. He vanishes in plain sight and reappears behind Ackerman. The display stuns Ackerman, who agrees to back the show. One day, Olivia confesses that Sarah had wanted to see her the day before she died. Sarah intended to tell Olivia something, but Olivia admits she was too afraid. Now, Olivia asks Borden what Sarah might have told her. Borden admits he never fully loved Sarah. He says he loves Olivia instead, but she's left unsatisfied. Before leaving, Olivia informs him that Angier is back, deeply unsettling Borden. Opening night arrives and Borden takes a seat in the crowd. Angier reveals Tesla's machine, which fills the stage with electric flashes, stunning everyone. He steps into the device and disappears right before their eyes, then reappears up in the balcony, earning a standing ovation. Borden, shaken, demands that Fallon figure out the trick. Fallon follows Angier's blind assistance as they move the equipment, but they still can't crack it. On the night Angier dies, Borden checks out the machine in front of the crowd, then sneaks backstage. He goes under the stage and sees Angier fall into a water tank. Borden grabs a wrench and tries to break it open, but he's too late. Cutter steps in and finds Angier dead. These events lead to Borden's conviction for Angier's murder. In prison, Borden is thrilled to see Jess, but ignores her new guardian at first. When he looks up and sees Lord Caldlow's face, he's stunned. It's Angier. Angier grins, blaming Borden's obsession for everything. Borden warns him to leave Jess out of it, but Angier ignores him, knowing now he can hurt Borden by taking someone he loves. Borden tries to trade the secret of the transported man, but Angier rips the note, uninterested. Borden pleads for mercy, for himself and Jess, but Angier won't listen. He takes Jess to his estate, where Cutter is waiting. Furious and shocked, Cutter demands to know how Angier is still alive. Realizing the truth, Cutter turns away in disgust. He's haunted by the fact he helped convict Borden, an innocent man, and that Jess now lives with the one who caused it all. Mockingly, Cutter asks where Angier wants the Tesla machine moved. Angier says he'll ensure it's never used again. Back in prison, Borden apologizes to Fallon for going too far, and for what happened to Sarah. He tells Fallon to live for them both, tossing him the rubber ball and saying goodbye. Over the next few days, Cutter visits Jess at the estate, and later returns the machine to the empty theater. Borden walks his final steps toward execution for a crime he didn't commit. Meanwhile, the device is lowered beneath the old theater. Cutter and Angier push it into a shadowy chamber. At the same time, Borden is prepared for hanging, while a priest reads his last rites. His final word is abracadabra before the trapdoor opens. After Cutter exits the theater, Angier hears another person inside. A rubber ball rolls into his hand, distracting him before a man shoots him in the chest. The ball rolls back to the shooter, revealing Borden under the hat. Slowly, Angier realizes the truth. Borden had a twin who posed as Fallon. The two brothers traded places as Fallon and Borden, switching roles for the sake of the act. They even went as far as severing fingers to match the one Angier had shot earlier. This way, each brother got to live just half a life. One of them, the one standing in front of Angier, was in love with Sarah, while the other cared for Olivia. They gave up living full lives so they could keep up the illusion. As he bleeds out, Angier explains how he made copies of himself with Tesla's device, killing one every time. But Borden isn't interested anymore, realizing all of Angier's sacrifices meant nothing. Angier admits he only ever wanted to witness the crowd's amazement at his act before dying. With that, he falls back, dying for good from his wound. With both Angier and Lord Caldlow gone, Cutter takes Jess under his wing, showing her the birdcage trick. The surviving Borden, Missing half his life, his fingers, his wife, and his brother, accepts the life of lies and finally finds his way back to his daughter, keeping the vow he made to his twin. A stark difference from both his brother and Angier, who were each destroyed by the price of deceit and their hunger for applause and success. In the end, it literally cost them everything. Borden's twin hanging from the gallows, and Angier left behind in the shadows under the stage, surrounded by the water tanks that held the bodies of his many copies. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to support the channel. Thank you for watching.